And now, live in studio, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. He's a successful entrepreneur, published author, top listing agent, a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And yes, here we are again another day, committed to being your consumer advocate, helping you understand your buying decisions and making you more street smart here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We love to help you win in any marketplace. We've got a great lineup for you today on the program. We're going to have U.S. Congressman Gus Bilirakis representing Florida District 12 on the program, as well as attorney Jason Kobal, Kobal Law, on the program as well. You've heard Jason is talking about work comp law, personal injury law as well here on the show. And before we jump into that great content, though, I want to remind you we're having Tampa Bay's Best Career Fair coming up on Wednesday, October 20th, 6 to 8 p.m. at the Largo Event Center. Please join us and spread the word. Wednesday, October 20th, 6 to 8 p.m., kind of a public service announcement here. We are putting this together. We've heard a lot of business owners looking for employees and a lot of people looking for jobs, so we're going to try to do some matchmaking here at Tampa Bay's Best Career Fair. Register on Eventbrite, and that's on Wednesday, October 20th, 6 to 8 p.m. Largo Event Center, brought to you by the Consumer Quarterback Show, massive marketing pros as well. So that's a great opportunity for you right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. And we like to feature our listings on the show, so we'll let you know about a hot listing that we've got here in Tampa Bay, 117 14th Street in Bel Air. This is a $1.2 million listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. Now, this property is 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, almost 2,800 square feet, private pool, gourmet kitchen, jetted bathtub, temperature-controlled wine closet, covered lanai, and of course it's just minutes from the beach. You walk down to the end of the street and you have beach access right there. So you've got the sugar sand beaches, dolphin-filled waters of Tampa Bay, Pinellas County, right here in Tampa Bay. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
This is God's country.
All right, let's joining us on the phone straight from out of Washington, D.C. We got Gus Bilirakis, United States Congressman. Hey, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me on, Brandon. Appreciate it. Absolutely,
it's my pleasure. It's great to talk to you. And as I was just kind of mentioning out in the community, hey, yeah, we've got Congressman Gus Bilirakis coming on the show. Nothing but great comments, and people are always praising, saying what a nice guy you are, and what a great service you do to the community.
I appreciate it, Brandon. We do our best, and these are very difficult times. But I have a good relationship with the members on the other side of the aisle, and we get a lot of things done. But, I'm not really happy overall with what's going on, and I know we'll discuss that. But, I have a bill this morning with Darren Soto, and it has to do with Darren Soto's right here. Oh, hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Nice to see you for your support. Oh, absolutely. Brandon, 1 second, okay?
Yes, sir.
Just take a little photo here.
So we got a photo op.
Darren is a Democrat from the Orlando area. We're both on the Energy and Commerce Committee, and what we're doing now is we actually address the Medicaid issue with regard to Puerto Rico and some of the Virgin Islands, the U.S. territories.
Yep.
And there's going to be accountability in the particular bill. And then we need to make sure that our U.S. citizens in the territories get their health care. So they're actually taking a picture with me now. My chief of staff brought them in. They're good people, and I really appreciate it. And bipartisan
support in the committee, as well as support from Senator Scott and Senator Rubio in the Senate.
Yeah, this is the way you get things done. Darren is a Democrat. He's a moderate Democrat. And we work together. We can find consensus on particular issues.
Right.
And this is a huge issue. So, and we've done a lot. We've done a lot with, yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. It's a great place. It's a wonderful place. Nice to see you. Thank you very much. Thanks, Darren. Appreciate it. My pleasure. Thank you. Take care. Thank you. Yeah, sorry about that, but I at least thought it'd be pretty cool to bring him in. I I didn't get any notice, but yeah, they're very happy with our bill. And again, we put a lot of restrictions in there.
Yeah, that's great.
To make sure that there's no fraud. So yeah, you got to do it the right way.
That's right. We're talking with Congressman Gus Bilirakis on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. And, yeah, let's jump right into it. I wanted to ask you about, some of the stuff going on. I think there's 4 different categories I wanted to cover here in our short time together. But I want to start with the southern border. It just seems unbelievable to see these pictures, the drones, and then the FAA putting in that no-fly zone over parts of that, I guess basically trying to black out some of the media. So pretty interesting, and I wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Well, that's unforgivable that they're trying to black out the media on this. Brandon, I was at the southern border. I went there to the El Paso section not too long ago. And, people are coming in at will. And they're going through the processing centers, these young kids. I feel bad for them because, the coyotes bring them over and the drug cartels arrange it. They're taking money from the parents. The parents think the kids will have a better life over here. Well, they're kind of lost. They're living in tents at this particular time, and they don't have any real relatives in a lot of cases to take care of them. So, you look into their eyes, and they're extremely sad. We need to secure our border. The wall needs to be built. We're paying contractors right now, again, approximately $2 billion not to work.
Right.
Because Biden decided not to finish the wall.
Wow.
And you've got the equipment there, on the side. I saw it on the side of the road. And the president's right, the wall's beautiful. And it serves its purpose in certain areas, but it's not completed. And now you have the Haitians coming over, and that's because this administration has signaled it's fine to come over.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's a big mess, and we've got to get this. We've got to get this. We have to get the majority back so we can, secure the wall, secure the border, and vet these people and make sure that they're legal. Yeah. You have a lot of wonderful people wanting to come in this country, and they have to do it legally. So this is wrong. And if we had listened to President Trump initially, I think it would have gotten done. We would have secured the border by now. But he didn't get reelected, and this is what we're facing.
Yeah, it's such a challenge, and we interview local nonprofits on our program as well. We've interviewed the United States Institute Against Human Trafficking. John Long is the executive director, does a great job. But he said that's a big part of what's happening too, is just the human trafficking, the gun violence. We've had Florida Firearms on the program, Thomas King, talking about the gun violence and the gang activity in our own backyard now because of this.
Yeah, and the Border Patrol agents are doing a great job, but there aren't enough of them.
Right.
And there's not enough technology for the virtual border because you can't put a fence everywhere due to the terrain. So it's a big problem. And the people, Hispanics that live on the border, on our side, the U.S. side, they're Americans, obviously, and they say, look, please, do something about this.
Right.
We're scared for our lives because of these coyotes, but mostly the drug cartels. They're taking over that part of the country. It's just awful.
So what the root question is why? I mean, some people are saying it's because they want to bring these people over to turn them into Democratic voters. Is that your opinion?
Maybe. Who knows? I wouldn't put anything past them.
Yeah. All right. Let's move to the next topic. If you just joined us, we're talking with Gus Bilirakis, United States Representative, Congressman from Florida's District 12, right here in Pinellas County and others. But the next question is Afghanistan. The pullout from Afghanistan, the Air Force Base. I mean, it just so many people are just deflated seeing that happen to our military, and it seems like they're more worried about being woke than actually making positive decisions.
Yeah, Brandon, it's horrible. I mean, this is disaster. To pull out and to leave Americans and allies over there, their interpreters and their families, it's unforgivable, as I said before. Yeah. And then to take the base. I mean, that base, we needed that base there. And to pull out of the base, I just don't understand it. Biden, a lot of people voted for him because they thought that he had the foreign policy experience, chairing the Foreign Affairs Committee over in the Senate. I guess they call it the Foreign Relations Committee over there for so many years. And then being vice president, you would think he would have the knowledge here. And it's like dealing with a bunch of amateurs.
Yeah.
And we got to get our people out of there. Whatever it takes, we got to get our people out of there. And, I don't think we should have withdrawn the 2,500 troops that were there.
Right.
You've got people in different parts in Europe. We have troops in Europe. We have troops in Korea and South Korea. 2,500 troops are not a lot. They were stabilizing the business.
Yep.
In any case, I'm sorry, I said the business. Somebody's talking to me right here in my ear. They were stabilizing the country.
Right.
And now you see what's happening. No, we've got to continue to get our people out of there, and a heck of a lot more Americans than the Biden administration is saying. We work with these veterans that are doing everything they possibly can to get their people out, and I'm doing everything I can. Most of it is behind the scenes because we can't get any cooperation from the State Department.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break there. When we come back, I want to ask you about the monoclonal and the vaccines and all that stuff happening a little bit more domestically here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll be right back here. We're going to take a quick break. U.S. Congressman Gus Bilirakis on the Consumer Quarterback Show, and we'll be right back. Quick break here.
Hey, this is Grant Cardone, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show, hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes. Do not touch that dial. I'll come right through the radio and grab your throat.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Hey, Brandon Rhymes here for Cleaning Commandos here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Cleaning Commandos are hiring, and they're offering competitive wages, flexible hours, relaxed atmosphere, and a sign-on bonus. Reach out if you'd like a career with the Cleaning Commandos here in Tampa Bay. Info at cleaningcommandosllc.com or call 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550. Cleaning Commandos, Consumer Quarterback Show. Hey, Brandon Rhymes here. We are looking for real estate investors. We've got a new relationship bringing us a tremendous amount of off-market real estate investment opportunities. So text the word investor to our hotline, 813-750-0550. Off-market real estate investment opportunities. Text investor to 813-750-0550. Brandon Rhymes here, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, looking for real estate investors. Send us a text.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. Quick shout out to Veteran Gutters. Brandon Porter and his team, American-made products. Veteran Gutters here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, longtime friends of the program. All right, we've got U.S. Congressman Gus Bilirakis on the program today, and wanted to bring it back home a little bit closer to what's happening, specifically even in Florida with the monoclonal treatment and the Biden administration's decision to cut, I think it was reported 50% or so of that. What's your thoughts on that, Congressman? Well,
I think it's irresponsible. This monoclonal treatment works. As a matter of fact, I actually had the treatment when I actually was diagnosed, tested positive for COVID in early January. And after a couple of days, I was recommended I get the treatment. And within 24 hours, I was feeling good. This is great stuff. I mean, I'm telling you, it's a miracle work. And the fact that it's been rolled out by our governor, rolled out. I didn't say ruled out. I have a little bit of a Greek accent still. But even though I was born in Tarpon Springs, born and raised in Tarpon Springs. But in any case, I was at the press conferences with the governor because I believe and this particular formula strongly, and it's helped so many people. So I strongly recommend it. And you can go to the state sites, and we have several sites in the Tampa Bay area. One at the Clearwater Church in Holy Trinity Church off of 19. And then, of course, the Fasano Center in Pasco, and I know there are a couple in Hillsborough as well. And it's free, and you don't have to have a referral. You can go right there because the medical providers are there. And if you're at risk, if you've tested positive, or if you've been around someone that has tested positive, they'll give it to you. And I don't feel there's any risk involved. So it's a no-brainer. I don't know why this administration doesn't do anything with regard to the monoclonal, and they're pushing back on it. It just doesn't make any sense. These treatments work.
Yeah, it is. It's almost like it's punitive.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't get it, Brandon. There's a lot of poor leadership, poor management. Fauci, every time you hear him, he says something different.
Yeah,
it's just wrong. And these mandates. What are we going to do to our businesses?
Right.
I mean, you got to have 100. If you have employees over 100, they're required, mandated to wear masks. And they're taking away, in some cases they're taking away the testing. They're saying you got to wear the mask regardless if you had testing. In certain cases,
yep.
It's just wrong. I don't agree with it. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that I've done my own research, and I recommend people to speak to their physician directly. Their physician, not the Washington physicians or the so-called experts, but their physician, primary care physician that they trust.
That's right.
And I did that, and I got the vaccine. So it was good for me. Right. But you gotta have choices. Yeah, there's freedom in this country.
Yeah.
And then again, we don't want to destroy our businesses, and that's exactly what we're doing. We don't have enough nurses in our hospitals, and now some of the nurses are saying, "Look, we don't really want to take the vaccine for certain reasons." Well, they're going to lose their jobs. Who's going to take care of our patients?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
So it's not well thought out. That's for sure.
Yep. And I was just going to mention, I'm not a big rap fan or, the hip hop music fan, but Nicki Minaj, she came out with 152 million followers, and she said, wow, all I did was question the vaccine. All I did was tell a story about what happened to a cousin or a friend that was in Trinidad, and they are coming at me like you wouldn't believe. It almost feels like China.
Yeah. Well, I give her credit. I'm not a big rapper fan either, but I give her credit for speaking up. And people need to know the facts.
That's right.
Before they make any decisions on their own, and it should be their decision.
Yep, absolutely. Stop forcing things
the other
on people.
thing, I want to commend you, first of all, getting all these issues out, and I'd be happy to get on the program and anytime you want me. But this job fair that you're having is incredible. Now, we have them on a regular basis, but there are so many jobs available now, and encourage people to go to these jobs fairs and actually, talk to the folks that are offering the positions. They may even give you a couple of weeks, and I don't want to speak for them, but a trial period,
right,
where you could see if you fall in love with a particular career.
That's right.
It's a hell of an opportunity for people, but they've got to get out and do it. Like, I have a son that's looking; he doesn't know what he wants. I have two that just graduated from law school. One just passed the bar. The other's going to take it in February, and then one that's in college. But I have a third son that it's normal. He doesn't know what he wants to do.
Yep.
But this is I'm going to encourage him to go to these fairs and try it out. Try it out, because you may fall in love with it.
That's right.
There's a lot out there for people.
Yeah, and that's a whole other conversation also about, too many kids going, being almost forced to go to college, universities. Maybe they're not quite cut out for that. We need trades. We need, there's other alternatives. And
well, what I asked for, even though I'm not an earmark guy, I don't want the money going to another district. I want it to come to my district. So I did some earmarks, and in the House we have $3 million that we've secured for AM skills. And AM skills, again, you learn the trades, and they help you with finding a job.
Yes.
And apprenticeship, and they're there to supervise. And that's right. I mean, you can get a degree. I mean, I went to the University of Florida, and I got a political science degree. Well, I couldn't do much with that except for teach, and I teach anyhow. But I went to law school because there's nothing you can really do with a political science degree.
Right.
But some folks, will make more money and enjoy what they're doing initially if they go into the trades and the vocational training. And we need good people, that's for sure.
And if you just joined us, we're talking with United States Congressman Gus Bilirakis here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. And Congressman, I wanted to get to one last thing before we run out of time. Okay. We got about 3 minutes here, but this multi-trillions of dollars upon trillions of dollars upon trillions of dollars that we've been spending, and it's just unbelievable. And kind of growing up through my lifetime, even just looking at my mid-40s here, it's just unbelievable to me, the irrational spending, just the waste, the government waste. And then you hear about money going to like Pakistan for gender studies and these types of crazy programs. What is going on up there?
It's awful. They're spending our children's and our grandchildren's, our great-grandchildren's money. That's what's happening. I mean, this particular party, and let me tell you, the traditional Democrats you can work with, like Darren Soto, who was just on the program briefly now. But then some of these people are socialists, and it's a socialist wish list. This $3.5 billion. It really is. It's all giveaways, and then they're taxing. They're taxing, and we have inflation now, and what they're trying to do is increase the prices of not just labor, but the supply chain, and it's going to be difficult. It really is, unless we change our ways. We've got to be fiscally responsible. You can have good programs, but if you can't afford them, it's just not. We have to balance the budget in 49 out of 50 states. It's required, okay? But in Washington, D.C., you just print more money.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah. It really is. It's unbelievable.
So in 2022, definitely need to rally, and hopefully election integrity is going to be a big different game this time. Election integrity, there's going to be a lot more integrity in the elections.
Absolutely. We've got to get people out to vote, get registered, and don't take anything for granted. But we have a good shot at getting the majority back in the House and in the Senate.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank God here in Florida we got net migration, people coming in here. We just hope they're not bringing some of their blue collar or blue state rather voting habits. And I believe it's the people moving here are overwhelmingly registering as Republicans.
That's what I hear. They're coming from New York and California and some of these blue states, and they're sick of the taxes, and they're not getting anything for their taxes. Our beautiful cities, our beautiful northern cities are being destroyed, and it's really very sad. But we're lucky here in Florida.
We sure are. We got a great governor up there, and a great
really do.
Yep, absolutely.
Good legislature as well.
Absolutely. Well, hey, thanks for joining us here. We'll let you get back to work. I know you guys got a lot of work to do up there, but thanks for calling into the program. We greatly appreciate it.
Anytime, Brandon. Thank you.
My pleasure. All right, that was United States Congressman Gus Bilirakis on the Consumer Quarterback Show. He is Florida District 12 U.S. representative here on the program. So great points, good stuff. Coming up, we got attorney Jason Kobal here in the program, and I want to get his response and thoughts on that. Also going to talk about personal injury law, work comp law, and more here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Make sure you check out consumerqb.com.
This is Chris Voss, former FBI lead hostage negotiator and owner of the Black Swan Group, and you're listening to Consumer Quarterback Show hosted by my friend Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
Jason, can you hear me?
I'm sorry. Yep.
Alrighty, stand by.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-670-7372.
All right, welcome back. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We always like to feature our real estate listings live on air on the show to help our sellers profit more, sell faster, and help get more exposure for our real estate listings right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. I got a beautiful property at 722 Pruitt Drive on Madeira Beach. This is a gorgeous duplex investment opportunity on the beach. Bring your boat. There's room for a deep water access boat here. 722 Pruitt Drive, Madeira Beach. Got two sides, of course, a duplex, and the property is a great rental opportunity. 95-foot lot. This is one of the largest lots that you'll find in all of Madeira Beach and the surrounding areas. Great opportunities to see our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com. And a quick shout out to our friends over at Replenish IV Solutions. If you want to feel energized and hydrated, reach out to Replenish IV Solutions. They will deliver directly to your home or office, and they've got convenient locations in Tampa Bay, Gandy Boulevard. They've got Wesley Chapel and up around Bears Avenue as well. Replenish IV Solutions. Reach out to Stephen and Lisa Gunn and let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, we got our friend attorney Jason Kobal in the house. Kobal Law, welcome back, sir.
Oh, Brandon, you know, it's always a pleasure to be on, and I always learn from the other guests, but that was the best, man.
Yeah.
That was a great segment. I mean, a United States Congressman.
Yes.
And the topics were awesome.
Yeah, really good topic. I was going to get your reaction to some of those. What do you think on that?
Man, I tell you, I mean, you know, the stakes are so high right now, and that guy, he's right in the thick of it as a United States Congressman, and yeah, I mean, the border, I mean, I've never seen anything like this. We have laws that we're just not enforcing, and it's madness. The withdrawal from Afghanistan, I mean, you know, even Biden himself, you know, I would hear him time and time again, we don't leave anybody behind. Well, I guess we have now, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like sometimes they wake up and I'm like, I can't believe this stuff is really happening.
Yeah.
But
no mandates. Oh, no, this won't be a mandate. And then 6 months later, yeah, it's mandate. That's a good idea. Let's mandate it. The vaccines.
Yeah, and then I tell you what, I didn't even know that he mentioned there's actually locations where you could get some of those therapeutics.
Yes.
That's cool. I didn't even know that. So I learned a lot. That was awesome to hear that, and it was a great segment.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's always great. And Johnny helped us get Gus on the program as well. And our producers always do a great job, Johnny and James and Jose behind the scenes. So when we're looking at work comp law in Tampa Bay, I love how you bring in some of the updates to law, some of the different changes. You brought it to light for us about first responders being able to file claims based on work comp law that didn't have to be a physical injury, but now you can file claims based on mental anguish and those types of things. So I love it when you have these different law changes and you bring it to our light for our audience.
Yes, and then now with COVID, that has brought in even more new laws, and I mean, they're in the process. You know, we have our legislative laws that are made, you know, through this legislature, the statutes, but then case law gets made kind of on the fly. And like I think I mentioned the last time I was on, I have a case right now where unfortunately one of my all-time favorite clients passed away from COVID, and but her underlying injury for the workers' comp case was a DVT blood clot, and you know, I'm arguing I want to get some money for the state, for the family, who I know very well, that and I researched it, and I'm going to have an expert back me up, that people with DVT who get COVID have a tougher time than people who don't have DVT and get COVID, because, the DVT attacks your immune system, and the COVID, the way it attacks your system, it inflames your blood vessels and whatnot. So that's why those people have a harder time and could have a more horrific outcome than a standard person. So that's just an example right there. I already informed the other side, and the insurance company, they already said they want to fight. So, that's going to go to court.
Wow.
And that's how, that's how new laws get made via case law from, interesting situations like COVID came out of nowhere and really rocked our world in so many different ways.
Yeah, it did. And I hope we hold them accountable. The Chinese Communist Party, there's parts of me that thinks this was colluded. This was released on purpose. Just so happened to be in an election year when we had the best, the best economy, the best president, and we had everything going for us. And this all came out. And
a president who was attacking them with the trade war publicly, too.
Exactly.
And so there's that aspect. But, as an attorney who does injury law, negligence, the elements are duty, breach, causation, damages. You look at the facts that we now know at the start of COVID, they said from December till mid-January, it doesn't travel person to person.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that obviously was false. And now we know, we have evidence that they were aware of this back even before December.
Mm-hmm.
So, were they negligent? Did they have a duty to inform the rest of the world of what was really going on to give us a better shot at nipping this thing? And because they breached that duty, how much damage did that cause? I mean, had they told us earlier, maybe we could have confined it to just China.
Exactly.
So I feel very strongly about that.
Yeah, and they didn't want that to happen. That's why they let planes go out, and they were letting the planes, stop the planes coming in.
Yes.
Right, but they were letting their planes go out to Australia, Europe, all over the place.
The State Department also did, and you could look it up online. They did an investigation. And it was in May of 2020. It came out and said China hoarded, 2/3 of the world's PPE.
Yes.
During that time period when they were saying it doesn't travel. It doesn't go person to person. They're hoarding 2/3 of the world's PPE, and then when everybody needed it, they jacked up the prices.
Yeah. Well, China might be in trouble. I got a clip here. I'm going to play. Check out this clip here I found on this Jim on. This is about one of the largest real estate developers in China right now. I heard this one on Charlie Kirk's show. Listen to this clip.
Evergrande is a real estate developer in China that really kicked off following the housing boom in the 1990s. And this was done with its debt-driven business model, which is constantly borrowing money from banks to make real estate projects. But it's gotten to a point it is now in too much debt. And if the company goes bankrupt, no one actually knows who in China can bear the weight of the $300 billion of debt and liabilities. So that's the big question. Once in a while, a company grows so big and messy that governments fear what would happen to the broader economy if it were to fail.
So that's potentially happening over in China. A lot of people aren't following this, but it's interesting to me to see, because that could also cause a demise there, because there's no middle class there. You beat up on the middle class so long. But anyways, a little bit off topic, but any reaction there?
Yeah, well, even in our country, some of these companies they have so much power and they're so big.
Yeah.
And something happens to one of them, it could affect everything.
That's right.
You look at these social media giants,
and
it's amazing how much power they have. And then going back to what you said before, as far as ways of getting compensation, I believe we owe China. We're in debt quite a bit to China.
Right.
And that would be one way to possibly get. You don't have to force them to pay anything.
Right.
Maybe you don't have to honor all that debt if you could prove they were negligent.
I would think so.
I think it's definitely something.
Plus, they're known for ripping off all of our patents and trademarks, and they'll make it cheaper and it won't be as good a product. And I think it's ultimately our fault too. When you look at what happened in the 80s and 90s of our elite ruling class, they're just they started exporting everything overseas to save. So instead of giving the American people the option, hey, would you mind paying $17 for a T-shirt versus $10? I think a lot of people would have said, hey, you know what, let's support our countrymen. Let's support the people that are making products right here in America. Would it have been structured properly?
Right.
Had it been structured properly. So, but if you just joined us, we're talking with attorney Jason Kobal here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Kobal Law, TampaWorkCompLaw.com is the website. So work comp law is a big one. And then, Jason, you had a case that was in the Florida Supreme Court as well a while back, wasn't it?
I still do.
Okay.
I'm patiently awaiting their decision. Oral arguments were in December, but long story short, you won't find my name on it now because when I was doing the discovery, I found out that this affected more than just my client. My client was an injured worker who was wrongfully billed by a couple different medical facilities, and to come to find out their policies contradicted with the law. So I said, wow, this is more than just my client. So I referred it to a class action firm.
Yep.
Who then refer it to an appellate firm because they lost at the trial level, it got appealed, they won at the DCA level, and then as a matter of public importance, the Florida Supreme Court took it on. So we have to pray, my side, that the Florida Supreme Court affirms the decision, which will allow me to continue going after medical providers and hospitals that bill injured workers, because that should never happen.
Right.
And I like our chances. I heard how the arguments went, and I would be shocked if they don't affirm it, but they haven't done it yet, so still waiting on that decision.
Wow, that's very interesting, and it's just neat to see how the cases can flow. So there's specializations in law firms as well as for appellate and things of that nature.
Yes, and what's interesting about this one, just the position that the other side took. The big hospitals have their slew of lawyers and whatnot, but their position was, I should not have the right to bring this action under the debt laws that I did. And so if they were able to win, I honestly would lose about 40% of my practice because I have about 150 of these cases going. So there's a lot at stake here.
Wow.
But I think it's going to work out right.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting. So TampaWorkCompLaw.com. We got attorney Jason Kobal in the house. We talk about a lot of different things with Jason. Personal injury law as well is something that happens, and you see different cases. I was walking out of a restaurant the other day, and I noticed that the parking lot was just dark. There were no lights. And I mentioned it to my family as we're walking out. I said, you know what? This right here is a problem if these people could get sued, because if there's a fight in the parking lot, robbery, whatever, right?
Oh, absolutely. I've had a number of cases like that. Just, unfortunately, sometimes the lights out there go out. Yep. Well, somebody's got a duty. There's usually a landowner or somebody's got a duty to maintain that lighting to create a safe environment. And when it's dark, it isn't safe.
Right.
So whether someone gets attacked or you may not see something, bump into something, and I've succeeded under those facts before.
Yeah. Wow.
Absolutely, that's the case.
I want to dive deeper into some of those different scenarios, work comp law, personal injury law, right here on the program. We're going to take a quick break. Jason Kobal in the house, attorney Jason Kobal, that is Kobal Law, longtime friend of the program here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Plus, our feel-good story of the day. We got a recovered yearbook from 1969, leads to $1 million donation. Pretty cool story right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We'll take a quick break here. Follow us online at Brandon Rhymes1 on Instagram and Twitter, the Consumer Quarterback Show page. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. 1,200 plus videos on YouTube. YouTube.com/Brandon Rhymes Realty. We'll be right back.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com.
This is Diane Vance with Fairway Independent Mortgage, a member of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Please give me a call for any of your mortgage needs. We do all sorts of loans. If you would like information on a mortgage, you can text me or call me at 727-647-8199. I will take care of all your mortgage needs. Go to my website at dianevance.com.
Ian Beckles here with my man, Brandon Rhymes, a.k.a. the Real Estate Quarterback. Brandon, what's happening with the market?
Thanks, Ian. We are in a low inventory market, so any of our listeners are homeowners and would like a free comparable market analysis or a 2.5% listing, we will honor this for the first 3 listeners who call or text in 813-773-1253. Free CMA and a 2.5% real estate listing at 813-773-1253. Check out consumerqb.com. Selling commercial or residential property? Don't leave money on the table. List with the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. I'm Brandon Rhymes. Reach me at 813-670-7372 or platinummvpteam.com.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Consumer Quarterback Show, helping you win in any marketplace. And we always like to tell you something good here in our feel-good story of the day. We love to tell you something positive to brighten up your day.
Tell me something good.
All right, so this is an interesting story, pretty cool story. Get an alumnus, Marion Military Institute in Alabama. He sent a check for $1 million after staff members help him recover a lost yearbook. So he's looking for those memories, right? But long story short, he was Susan McKee, MMI's president for advancement, said Dr. George Rapier recently contacted the school for the first time since he graduated many decades ago. And she said, we had an alumnus from San Antonio, Texas, who had not been in touch since he graduated from MMI, and he lost his yearbook. So he's looking for a 1969 yearbook, and then they didn't have an extra one. But a few weeks later, he got a graduate became aware of the situation and found a box of books in the thrift store. So long story short, she sent the books to the school. The school mailed it out to the gentleman, and she says, here's a gift. The quote says, the gift arrives, and all we were anticipating was a gift, and it was a check for $1 million. So that's memories mean a lot to people, don't they?
Apparently.
Yeah. So, hey, see that yearbook. He wanted to see that yearbook, and hey, now an extra $1 million laying around.
That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty neat story. So we got attorney Jason Kobal here on the program, Kobal Law and TampaWorkCompLaw.com. What else is topical right now? I mean, there's lots of stuff. You see these different cases that come in. Unfortunately, down by Bayshore, you had a teen hit someone and killed them, and just all these different stories that are kind of coming up that kind of come and go, and you don't really hear a whole lot unless you follow it. But what else is topical out there, Jason?
Well, just on a personal note, I just interviewed a client over the weekend, and man, is it really important to get an attorney. The first thing that attorneys should do in a personal injury case like car accident, you have to make sure that you look for all the policies. The obvious ones, obviously, if there's an at-fault driver, their bodily injury will pay you if they cause the accident. But if that's not enough, you have uninsured or underinsured motorists through your carrier. But in this particular case, what had happened was there was a small bodily injury policy that the at-fault had. The person had a small UM policy. And then the attorney, who this person fired and now hired me, never looked to see if that person's employer would cover employees who are in a motor vehicle accident for UM. And sure enough, I get the policy and review it, and it did.
Wow.
But this other attorney, to trigger your entitlement to any UM, there's a statutory rule you have to follow to a T. You have to send a registered letter to the UM carrier before you accept that BI money that gives them the right to subrogate. And they have to waive that right. And then you could accept that money, have your client sign a release. Well, you didn't even know about this policy, so that wasn't done. So now I have a situation where malpractice occurred. There's a $100,000 policy that the client should be able to tap into, but won't be able to because this attorney dropped the ball.
Wow.
All that could have been avoided if the first thing you do as an attorney is just make sure you do the homework, find out all the potential policies, go over it with your client, and then proceed. But obviously that didn't happen here. So I got a big mess I got to clean up.
Man, that's interesting. So, yeah, I see similar versions of this in the real estate business, but nothing nearly as intense as that. And it just seems like your profession, man, you're almost like a treasure hunter, man. You're trying to dig and find and research, and you hopefully have, paralegals and people that can help you with some of that. But, man, that's a lot of work to go in there, and it's also expertise to know what to look for.
Exactly. Actually, in my firm, the same situation. We had a UM situation. My new associate, who was my nephew, he sent an email, and the law says you got to send a registered letter. I'm like, don't ever let me see an email again. I'm like, if you don't see that in the statute, do you? I'm like, registered, mail only.
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't count, and it's that particular. So you really, you got to have an attorney that knows those types of things and knows the law inside and out.
Yeah, because that's how you get things thrown out on a technicality, right? You hear that.
Yeah, and it could have been huge. It was a big policy. And you would think this day and age, 2021 email should be just as good. No.
Yeah. Spam filters, I guess, that kind of stuff. I do a lot of email marketing, so, some of that kind of stuff happens. If you just joined us, we're talking with attorney Jason Kobal here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. And yeah, that's some interesting stuff. So now that other office, that attorney is opened himself up to potential litigation.
I hope that attorney, I'm not going to mention any names, I hope he has insurance.
Oh, boy.
That looks like it's a malpractice city.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, you see those things. By the way, did you hear about that realtor down in Sarasota? It was in the I saw one of the videos. I think it was News Channel 8 or whatever. They said they did. So he had a $4.2 million listing. He was the listing agent on. He found the buyer. He had multiple offers. So he had what we call a transaction broker situation. He was representing both sides, in other words, right? So he allegedly, he ended up making a $270,000 commission because he represented both sides. Now, where the allegation and the alleged, misrepresentation, whatever you want to term that as, he supposedly didn't present all offers, and some of the other offers were higher. The buyer who missed out on the deal contacted the owner and said, "Hey, why did you sell it for? What did it go for?" "Oh, well, I actually offered you $500,000 more."
Oof.
So
Yeah,
he's potentially in trouble. Kobal banker agent down there in Sarasota County, and it was a beautiful home, $4.2 million property on the water there. But yeah,
stuff sounds like a conflict of interest there, playing both sides. But that happens.
And he would have been fine if all he had to do was present that offer,
right?
And then if his other buyer, he said, "Hey, listen, this is the highest offer. Here's your next offer. You go here. Can you beat that offer?" And then he would have been fine. He would have still been able to make both sides. But and because that's one of the things in real estate is people don't realize you can actually say what the other offers are, because your duty is to get the seller the highest dollar for his or her sale.
Right. It's amazing how greed takes over.
Yeah, it is.
Even in I see these PI attorneys that I know making ridiculous amounts of money, and then I'll see their closing statements. I'm like looking at costs that are just ridiculous.
Man,
I know one. He has HGA paralegal services, and it's a BS company it's under his wife.
Oh, right.
It's like, oh man, you don't need to be doing that.
Let's pile it on.
Yeah,
exactly. Oh man, it's interesting how that plays out. But yeah, so that was interesting in the news today. Or the last couple days. A big thing too is this murder trial, murder mystery going on, right? This thing, to me, it makes you think, like, yes, there's an appetite for that. People like to see it. It's kind of like a Netflix series.
You're talking about the young woman who was just found? That's so sad.
Yeah, and they got the body cameras.
Gone. The guy's still gone. And
to me,
missing.
though, it's almost like, because you know how the media is connected to politics in D.C., right? It's like this thing's dominating. What is not being talked about?
Afghanistan.
Because this, exactly.
What's not. Yeah, right. Our poor Americans
and vaccine
over there.
mandates and a lot of this stuff. So, anyways,
you wonder.
Just a thought. Just something to consider, something to ponder.
Right.
So, Jason, what else are you seeing out there, man? You get personal injury, work comp law right here in Tampa Bay. Do you cover the state of Florida too, like anywhere in the state?
I do for the debt stuff.
Okay.
Just because I have a little system set up where I have other attorneys, like if a case pops up down in Miami, I have attorneys over there that'll cover it for me. Then if it has to go to trial, I'll fly down there and do it. But just for the preliminary stuff. But for injury law, workers' comp, personal injury, generally within 2 hours, anywhere within 2 hours.
Yep. Good stuff. Okay. And then, so talk a little bit about that debt, because if you're an employer or if you're an employee and you're injured on work, that's where some of these lawsuits come in, right? They shouldn't be billing you if you got injured on the job site, right?
Exactly. If you have a valid workers' comp case, part of the deal is, there's lots of give and take. You don't have to prove fault. If you get injured in the course and scope of your employment, you have a case. You don't have to prove anybody did anything wrong. In exchange for that, the employer is protected. They can't be sued in civil court. They have workers' comp immunity, it's called. Another bonus for the injured worker is it's not to be a financial burden. 100% of his medical is supposed to be paid, so he shouldn't be getting any bills, or she.
Right.
So, and then even the laws have changed now. Any kind of balance billing, if you went to a hospital, even your health insurance, it used to just be HMO, but now it's expanded to HMO, PPO, all different types of health insurance. If you're getting balance billed, meaning the bill is $10,000, your health insurance paid $8,000, and they're trying to nail you for the $2,000 that's remaining, give me a call.
Yeah.
Because that could very well be a violation too. That's just outside of workers' comp even, but definitely any injured workers, that's a violation.
Yeah. So the work comp law, so personal injury law could be car accidents, lots of different ways. Best place for people to find you? TampaWorkCompLaw.com, or call the show or my office. Yeah, reach out to the hotline if anything you hear about on the program. You always have that resource at 813-750 813-750-0550. You can call or text that line, 813-750-0550. We actually had an interesting call a couple weeks back, too. This is one I think I referred to you, but it was a car was at a gas station. Something happened. The car just went into reverse. Luckily, no one got hurt, but could have. And then they were coming after him for the payment or something along those lines.
Yeah, and when I first heard that, sometimes you hear facts and you're like, what? And then sure enough, this type of vehicle, that happens.
It's known.
Yeah, and I had years ago, I had another type of vehicle. It was brand new. The guy drove it home and then he put it in his driveway and it just went in reverse.
Wow.
I mean, unbelievable. The things, everything's computerized. I guess it doesn't take much to have a glitch.
Right.
But yeah, unbelievable. So yeah, I'm actually still working on making that happen for that person.
Yeah, interesting. So reach out to the show. We get results. We help you win in any marketplace. That's what we say here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, as well as the real estate business with Keller Williams Realty. So hey, another great program. We had U.S. Congressman Gus Bilirakis on the show. Of course, Attorney Jason Kobal here. So thank you for tuning in. Thanks to all of our team behind the scenes put the show together. And we want you to please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community. And we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Whether it's real estate, consumer, or financial advice, let Brandon call your next play. Contact Brandon Rhymes at 813-670-7372. That's 813-670-7372. Online at consumerqb.com. And join us next time for the Consumer Quarterback Show.